today is the big potato reveal. So today I'm going to flip out all my first early potatoes with you, and we're going to see what's lurking. So they've been in since about the 18th of March roughly. I think one pot was sown a week earlier, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting them out. They look really tired at the minute, so they've just started to flower, but they're looking really tired, and the leaves are like really falling down. Like it is moist in there, like it's not because it's wilting, because it's dry. The soil is actually wet, so they have had to have water like every single day because it's been so hot. So they've dried out quite a bit, but they should be ready. So they've been in what, 12 and a half weeks roughly. So I'm going to flip them out, and hopefully we've got some little gems underneath there. Oh look, yeah, potatoes. Oh look, that's a huge one. Look at that. So we have some potatoes. So we will be eating dinner tonight. Put a few in there. Oh, this is amazing. Look, there's so many. I might weigh them actually. I might bring them indoors and weigh them. So yeah, I did this these were done in organic, I think it was peat-free compost I used for these, I think. And I put in a couple of handfuls of chicken manure, and yeah, just left them. That was all I did. And then just watered them and tried to keep on top of the watering. So obviously they won't be, look, there's the seed potato. It's gone a bit mushy and horrible. That was the seed potato. But yeah, so they just did their own thing. They were so simple, like didn't really do anything, just put them in. I put 4 per pot actually. So I put 2 on the lower level and 2 on the higher level, because they're supposed to be determinate when you have first early, so they don't actually grow up the stem. As you can see, like there's not really anything really up the stem of these. So I didn't earth them up, I just popped them in, put the compost straight on top, and yeah, that was it. Just left them do their thing. So really simple. So if there's a nice harvest, if there's any more, I'll be really pleased, because they're just like set and forget type plant. So this is the first bucket. I mean, that's a really nice sized one, isn't it? They'll be so nice with a bit of like butter. Oh, that'd be so lovely. So I'll pop a bit of that back in there so I can actually get round. Some really nice sized ones. I'm really surprised. Like, this is the first time I've grown them in containers. So I did them at my mum's like a couple of years back, but like they kind of grew them and I just dug them out for them, and they do them the traditional way in trenches. So this is the first time I've ever done a potato in a bucket, and it seems to have worked out quite well. So that was the first bucket done. I'm kind of impressed with what's in there, so I'm happy with that. And then this is number 2. Let's see what's inside. It's quite a workout doing this, you know. I see one at the top. Ah, how exciting. feel like there could be more in this pot because they're all around the edge, which is super cool. Oh, there's loads in here. Oh, it's solid. But at least when you're doing it in pots, you don't have to be digging, I suppose. It makes it a little bit easier on the body. And I get to reuse this. I'm going to amend that soil and I will pop something else in there later. Maybe a couple I will do as more potatoes, and then a couple maybe pepper, and obviously, like I said before, was the leeks that will go in. Another one at the top. I actually wrote on the pots. Yes, there was 4. I wrote in all the pots how many went in, so there was 4 in this, 4 seed potatoes. There's loads of little ones on this. I could have maybe left this one a bit longer. There's tons and tons of little baby ones on here. Do you know what? I'm not even sad about them because they're so nice if you fry them up. Put them on a salad. They are super duper nice. There's that one. And then I think there could be one more in here. This bit. Here they are. See there? So I've got the 3rd bucket here now, and actually this bucket was planted 8 days before the ones I've already picked and the one that's left to go. So I'm interested. There's not as much green top growth on this one, so I don't know whether there'll be less or more. So I'll be interested to see. Ooh. Okay, so on first impressions, you can see a little one there, and there's a couple more around the edge. There seems to be more on the outer side of them than the last one, so I'm going to pick those ones off that I can see. This bucket actually feels wetter than the others, which is cool. Oh, there's a little slug in here. See you later. We can eat that stuff instead. Right, let's break it open. Oh my, these are so much bigger. Look at these, they're huge. So that was 8 days more. It's interesting. So maybe next year I might plant them on the 10th. 8 days more. They're a lot bigger. Interesting. But you can definitely grow spuds in containers, and it might be a great way to do it if you don't want to be digging trenches and things like that. And that's the seed potato, and that seed potato is still intact, which is different to the other ones. The other one's kind of rotted out a little bit. Okay, so I had to move the tree from over here to over there because my camera just shut off because it's so hot. It got overheated. Right in the middle of like the epic potato harvest. So we're back and you probably see a little bit of the tree now in the shot, but that's obviously why, just because it got completely overheated. So yeah, we'll carry on. But this one, what was I saying? Yeah, just before the camera clicked off, right? I've noticed in this soil there's more worms in this soil. Like, I don't think there was any worms in the other soil. There's also a few slugs. which are not our friends, but maybe that's why they're slightly bigger now. I know I planted these 8 days earlier, but like that, there's some beautiful worms in the soil. Ooh, wriggly, wriggly, wriggly. So that might be why. Maybe the soil seems a bit healthier or something. Isn't that a good sign of soil? That's the seed potato. Look at that one. So we're on the final bucket. Lots of leafy growth compared to the last one. And let's flip it out. Got some big ones. Got some more big ones. Oh, this is like an epic harvest. This one has slugs, snails, not snails, not slugs. What are they called? We have a worm. Put you in there. Bury you in there. So, a few more in here, which is great. So yeah, I think I'm really chuffed with this harvest. What on earth is that? That's a long one. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. Put you in there. Okay. So we just tipped out the potatoes for the first earlies, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plant the rest of the main crop potatoes that I have. So they are a little bit far gone, but I'm just going to throw them in. You can still sow types of potatoes that are like this. So these are called Sarpo Mira, and they're a really strong blight resistant type of potato, so they can literally be grown a bit later in the season because they won't succumb to the blight disease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop 2 potatoes in each of these containers, and I'll probably will hill them up. I know it's a little bit like, do you hill them up, do you not hill them up when you do them in the containers, but I'm going to. That way I can keep an eye on how well they're doing, just because they are slightly over chitted, shall I say. So they're kind of growing potatoes on potatoes at the minute. So yeah, I'm going to empty probably half of these containers, and I'm going to amend the soil a little bit, obviously because a lot of the nutrients would have been used from the first earlies that were in here. And then yeah, I'll show you how I plant them. So I'm using the Westlands Bloodfish and Bone in these, and the reason behind that is I want to check the difference between using chicken manure and a bloodfish and bone mix. When I've done research into it, it says that the chicken manure will give like beautiful top leafy growth, whereas bloodfish and bone is really good for like roots and that kind of thing. So this is kind of like a rooty, we want to get the roots going on these obviously because that's where the tubers are forming. And then I can do a comparison, obviously when I harvest those, obviously I'll film it. They're the Sarpo Mira that I planted obviously back in March, and then I can see how they do. Now obviously there will be differences in terms of like the length of the days and how much sunlight they'll be getting, but like yeah, who doesn't love an experiment in the garden? And I'll see the quality of the tubers. Like it could be that these tubers come up bigger because we use this as a kind of a fertilizer for them, versus the ones that had the best chance in terms of sunlight, but I use chicken manure instead. So yeah. So I've just taken out around about half. Obviously my tub's getting a bit full, so there's only so much I can put in there. Yeah, so about half of the soil that's in there. These are 29 litre buckets, so there's about, what, 15 litres or so in here. Maybe, yeah, probably a little bit more on some of them. And yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant 2 of these. I'm going to do chit side up. I'm going to pick the biggest ones because there are some really small ones in here. So I feel like the best chance is to pick the bigger ones because they might have the most, I don't know, substance to keep growing. And yeah, I'm going to plant them probably, like from what you can see there, like the soil's coming up to about here at the minute. And what I'm going to do is I'll probably plant them here. So leaving probably 5 centimetres at the bottom and then 5 centimetres at the top. And then obviously you could just put on the soil straight away and they'll be absolutely fine. I did that with some of the others and they just grew through. They just took a little bit longer to come through. But because I'm not doing them off of like the fresh chits where it's literally just green, I want to make sure like they don't rot, and I'll see them coming through and know that they're kind of working quite well. So that's why I decided I'm going to kind of hill them up, but you don't have to. But I also find it's a little bit easier to manage them that way. You know, like if, say you had just enough compost just to start them off and then like you wanted to get another bit of compost next week or the week after, at least you could split the purchase of the compost over the few weeks. I just find sometimes it just makes it that little bit easier to get going, and then you can just top it up as you go along. So before I put the potatoes in, I'm going to put in a scoop of the Westlands blood fish and bone. I actually gave my mum a bucket of this. It was on sale. I think it was like €10 for the bucket last year. So I bought a few of them, and my mum has been doing her garden. She's been doing her garden for years, but she decided to go veg, but she's got real clay soil. Like it's just like so hard to dig and it's so compressed. And like all the stuff that I grew, when she'd visit, she'd go to me like, oh, your stuff looks so good and blah blah blah. So I ended up giving her a bucket of this, and she literally sprinkled the whole bucket over the whole garden, and within like a few days, literally everything started bouncing into life. So like I swear by this stuff, it's so good. So I'm just mixing it in there now. So in they go. This is a really heavy basket. There's loads in there, and we're gonna go inside and I'm gonna weigh them. Right, so we're on 0 for that, and then I'm gonna pop in. I'm just gonna pop them in and weigh them and see how many we got. So you can see on this plate here, there's like a few little ones. So that was out of the first potato that we took out. So there was a few more little ones. So I'd say, like, given the number of small little ones that I have, like that, they probably could have been left in a little bit longer. But all in all, like, most of them are a decent size, like on both sides of the plate. I just took them out in the order I put them in. So like on both sides, each plant had a decent sized potato. That actually is probably bigger than what you would buy as a new potato anyway, I think. You know, like a baby potato or salad potatoes. So yeah, I mean, what I was expecting was more sort of this sort of size. But yeah, I've got some big ones, and like that would definitely, like if they keep, which I'm sure they will, like that could do us dinner. Like there's obviously only 2 of us eating. So to me, that's like, I don't know, how many would you have? Like 3 or 4? I would have 3 or 4 because I like potatoes with proper butter. Like, how many have you got here? Like 3? That would be a dinner. Like you'd put that with a dinner, wouldn't you? So like I've got many dinners here. So yeah, I'm gonna pop them in now and see how many I've got, and we shall see. Like that, I imagine I'm gonna have to weigh it in 2 sittings because my weighing scales, it only goes up to that 2 I think it's 2.2 kg it goes up to. So it's exciting though, isn't it? I'm really chuffed. They look amazing. There's no disease on them. Like, they look amazing. The skins look perfect. Really happy. What's that? Okay, that plate was holding 2 kg worth of potatoes. So, plate number 2. So that was 2 kg, this side. And then this side is hopefully the same. Probably not though, there's a lot smaller ones on this plate. I'm putting every last one on as well. It all adds up. I know they're like minuscule and they're not really counting as potatoes. Oh, stop it now, I've just thrown it over there. I know they don't really count as potatoes, but I'll fry them up, they'll be so nice. And we have 1.8 kg, so just shy of 2 kg. So that's not bad. So that's like 3.8 kg of homegrown first early potatoes. I'm so happy. Like, I've never grown them in containers before, so yeah, I planted 1 kg. I've got 3.8 kg, and like that, I'd say if I left the first plant a week later, obviously all these little ones would, like, there's probably, I'm dropping them, keep dropping them. I'm very clumsy, guys. very clumsy. I'd say these little ones would probably have grown a little bit bigger. So yeah, maybe next year I'll leave them in like maybe 1 or 2 weeks later. But overall, I'm super happy because it didn't really take much effort. A little bit of compost, a little bit of fertilizer. These were chicken manure, I put in these. Watered them. That was probably the only thing that was difficult to keep up on them, was the watering, because them being in the containers and the containers being black, they obviously evaporated and dried out really quickly. So keeping on top of the watering, because some of them you would have seen obviously were a little bit dry when they came out. So yeah, maybe, oh, see, clumsy. But yeah, super happy.
Outside my window,